Inomina manena na 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 ragaranga ira baira ira na na. Yo, boom! Aserere, a rere, tererere, mi no Maria Veruvia baby. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Another talk, another talk. Since we are not making music, no, we are making music, but since we are not making money out of music yet, let's talk a little bit and let's see where it goes. So, today's talk, I don't know what it is about. I kind of know, I kind of have like a kind of thing for it, but different stories. So, I wanted to talk about a movie. Spoilers alert. Spoilers alert. Go and watch it. The Shawshank Redemption. Don't tell me that I ruined one of the greatest movie experiences ever in your life, okay? I'm the spoiler man of the movies, so I always spoil everything because I cannot talk if I do not spoil everything. Shawshank Redemption. IMDb #1. So this movie is about Andy, and Andy goes to Hollywood. No, Andy goes to prison without him committing the crime. You know, like that classic story. And Andy had to escape, right? We already said, spoiler alert, go watch it. Don't. If you have watched it, okay. And he had like that hammer, right? Like this. Imagine this is a hammer, or this is a hammer, right? A small hammer. And like, boom, he built a hole. He went in. Then he went into a tube, pipe. He broke in. He got in. The pipe was full of shit. He crawled. I don't know how many yards. I think like it was stadiums of yards. Boom, into the shit. He was like puking and all that. And boom, he escaped, right? And I always find it very fascinating. And one of the reasons why we love movies, or like we love TV series or cinema or whatever, it is because we love the character and the struggle that the character has, the main character especially. And we kind of like feel that, oh man, it's like my own struggle, you know, like, and we kind of like parallelize it, right? So I parallelize Andy's struggle. The beginning of it was like him all these years with that tiny like hammer, you know, like getting into the hole, creating that small tiny hole so that he can get in, right? And it took him, it says, less than 20 years. And it's like me, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, boom. And in the 2023, I got into the pipe, into the tube, right? And I'm like, now I'm like, nobody knows me. And I'm like crawling and crawling and crawling. And I'm puking. I'm like, please stop, 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 stop. 2023, 2024, 2025. Andy escaped in 1966. Maybe I escape in 2026, or maybe in 2027, 2028. Nobody knows, but I blow up, right? As I was talking about shit, I want to talk about a story of mine, right? Which is a little bit embarrassing, so to speak, but none of these famous artists will ever tell you like their most embarrassing stories. But I wanna say it because I want people to really, really, really understand that nobody is God, nobody is perfect. Stop idol worshipping people. Uh, God is everything. And when I was a young kid, a little kid, I mean like very, very, very little. I mean like maybe like 4 years old, 3 years old, five. We immigrated with my parents, right, from Albania to Greece, okay? And the first house that my father had before like we went like to the second house, to my godmother, uh, the first house that my father rented was like when I would go like to the hotel this summer that I was working in the hotel, I would like pass by that house, and I would always like look at it. Now, like I think it is abandoned or something like that. So that house did not have a toilet, right? A toilet inside the house. First of all, like you had like to open the door. Let's say like the door is right here, right? You open the door, poof, and you walk, balcony, you walk, and it was right here, and you get in, right? So that toilet there, it was like it wasn't like the classic toilet that in Europe, in America. It was like those like that they are flat toilets that you have like to put like your feet, right? You have to squat and you take a dump, right? Everything, and you get up again. But now I was like very, 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 very. I was like a kid, right? 3 years old, 4 years old, as I said before. And my parents were away. My mom was like at work. My dad, I don't know where he was. he was he was doing Dolce Vita. So um, I wanted like to take a dump, right? 3 years old, 4 years old, maximum five, but I think like three, four. Um, I went, I squatted, right? And I fell in, man. I fell fucking in. I fell into that toilet, man. Like this, boom. And my legs up, you know what I mean? And I fucking started crying. And after like I don't know like how many hours. I don't know how many hours. Maybe like half an hour, 1 hour, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. But it wasn't like too long. You know what I mean? I started crying and all that, man. And my mom like came like from work. Where is Aldo? Where is Aldo? Aldo like is inside the toilet. And like she found me deep into the shit. It was like it wasn't like that, but it was like more like of the Slumdog Millionaire, where like he fell like into the shit, something like that. It wasn't like that disgusting, but it was like, and I was like traumatized, right, from that experience. So whenever I would see like the flat toilets, I will always like try to avoid them, right? And in school, one day in school when I was like I don't know like how old was I? Maybe like 7, 8, 9, maximum 10, 7 to 10, right? 7 to 9, I would say. I was like, oh man, I gotta like take a dump, right? Because at that time, uh, there would be like an after school for kids who their parents would work, right? And they would like be like, you know what? We will leave like our kids in the school extra 3-4 hours, extra 3-4 hours in the school. They will eat there, like we pack their food, right? They will eat there. They will do like their homework, and then like we will pick them up like at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, because it's like the 9 to 5. You know what I mean? And so, but it was that thing. It was like very, very good, because after 2 o'clock, when we would finish like the school, we will do like the lessons, you know what I mean? Like we will study like for the next day. So when I would go like in my home, it was like free time. So never mind. And I was like 7, 8, 9, I don't remember, right? And I didn't like, you're a human after all, right? So you don't like do everything in your house. Sometimes shit happens. And I go like there, like it was after school. Maybe like it was like 3 o'clock, three and a half. I don't know. But remember, like 4 o'clock, school's over, right? And I go like to the toilets, to the bathroom, and I see again the flat toilet. And I'm like, oh fuck, man! Like I gotta do it. I'm sorry. But I couldn't do it. I was like, man, I'm so fucking scared of this, and I didn't do it, right? And what happened? I took a shit on myself, man. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck did I do, man? And now I was like, shitted all over me, right? But the clothes wasn't like, like it wasn't like, you can see it, like you can see it. I think like you can see it. Like you could see it, but if you paid attention, but who pays attention, right? I wasn't like wearing jeans or stuff like that. So now my thinking is like, maybe like I gotta escape, right? I gotta just bounce. Don't say the teacher, or like maybe go and say the teacher, oh, I gotta leave, I gotta go home, I'm not feeling well, or something like that. But then I was like, maybe like I will get suspicious, right? And the teacher will be like, oh, and the kids and all that. So I'm like, I will stay by myself, right, in a corner somewhere, and I will. This is Michael Scott's type of stuff, right? And everything, like everybody, like will whatever, and I will leave, right? Now, this particular day, the kids, the boys, they want like to play football. I used to play football too, but I didn't like football, so to speak, right? And I wasn't playing football with them, never, right? I was always staying like with the girls, and that after school, right? And I was never like playing football. It was like the real me was coming out. Now, that day that I was like, that I shitted myself, the kids they were like, like 10 vs 10, 5 vs 5, 6 vs 6, whatever. That particular day, they were like 7 vs 6, or maybe like 7 vs 5, and they wanted just one person to be there. And they were breaking my balls, man. Like I was like, I was like shitted on, and they were like breaking my balls. They were like, we will give you cards, we will give you this, just come and play football. And I was like, just stand there. They were like, just stand there, just walk, you don't even have to run. And I was like, how can I say to these fucking idiots that first of all they found this particular day to bribe me with cards and all that? They even offered me money. Coins. I think they offered me €1 or something like that. I was like shitted on, and I was like, how the fuck can I tell them like, go fuck yourselves? I'm shitted on. I don't know how to escape this thing, and you are even making it like even worse. And you found this particular day, and I was like, not today, I'm not feeling well. maybe some other time, I promise you. And they were like, no, 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 man, like the cards. We will give you the cards and the money. And I was like, no, 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 please, please, please. So they started like understanding something, right? And this guy like something. And when I left, everybody like started understanding something. I don't know, maybe it started smelling or something like that. But when I left, right, a couple of kids, I think back, I was like this, and they started laughing, man, and they were like, "Oh, look at Zaimi, look at Zaimi," and they were like, start laughing. Wow. And I was like defeated, humiliated, and all that, and I realized it because in those kind of situations, like when it comes like to what you say, to social interactions, like I have like an intelligence, and I was like, oh man, like they realized it. And you would think that it needs like a lot of like social intelligence to realize something like that, right? And they were laughing, laughing, laughing. That was the walk of shame. And I remember like the school to my house was like a straight, it was like Andy's, right? That he crawled deep into the shit, right? It was like me right now that I'm like crawling into the tube, right? For my freedom. And everybody's laughing at me. Like, ha ha ha. And it was like straight, and then a little bit left, and then a little bit right, and then a little bit left again, and up. Up into the second floor. And I went to my home, and I tell my parents, and my parents they were like, they felt sorry for me. And I went into the bathroom, all that, I cleaned myself, etc., etc. And then my parents felt so sorry for me, and they were like, okay, now like you go and play like with your video game. And I used to have like those Atari, I don't know like if you ever had them, that they were like PlayStation copycat, like PS1 copycat. And it looked like a PS1, but it had like cassettes. It was way before like I got like my first PS1 from my uncle in Albania. And then like my mom bought me like the PS2 here in Greece and all that, but then I never had like a PS or whatever, but that was it. And like I put like the Atari and all that, and I was cleaned, and I played the video games and whatever. Like, and the next day, I think like in school, maybe like somebody like said something or like some shit like that. But sometimes shit happens, right? And the beauty of it was like, because I was traumatized in the first like flat toilet, the second time I didn't even have the courage like to squat and like and do it, you know what I mean? So because like I was like I wasn't like boom, it made it even worse. And that's what trauma is sometimes, right? Sometimes trauma will make things even worse for you. And now I have to take revenge on the flat toilets. If I ever find a flat toilet, the first thing that I'm gonna do is like eat a lot and go and take my revenge. But yeah, man, and Andy, right? And then he crawled. I mean, like for his freedom, he crawled into the shit of the whole prison. Imagine that. Imagine if somebody like tell you, if you have like to, let alone that you are going to dig the hole, right? But you are going to crawl through piles of shit and crawl and crawl and crawl, right? What would you do for your freedom? Would you crawl? So yeah, that was it, right? Embarrassing, right? Traumatizing, right? But human after all, right? Peace.